by Mewis to get herself into the 18. And Simon with a great opportunity for Boston. Great possession for Boston. And Simon has to put that one in the back of the net.
There's a look at the replay. Mewis getting some help there from Salem, and she did all the work once she got that ball.
Yeah, again, building from Angela Salem. And here's Mewis just doing all the work, getting that ball across. That's a great cross, great run by Simon. The only thing missing is that finish. And the one thing about Boston is they've held a lot of the possession this year. They're 1-5-0. They got their first win last game in a 1-0 win. They just can't finish. They've lost 4 matches, 1-0. They lost to Seattle 3-0. But they've kept a lot of, they're really in their matches. They've been leading the possession. You can see it right here. Their style of play is a possession-oriented team. They like to build. They're patient, and they'll build. The one thing they're missing is that finishing. 3 strong forwards in McCaffrey, Simon, and Mewis. You'd expect to see a lot more goals.
Shep for a high service deep on the far side. Simon tracks it down and keeps it in play.
Something you've seen from Boston this year, very similar to Western New York Flash. There were 4 or 5 games in a row where you're hitting the crossbar or the post. That's not typical where it's just every single game. It's just a lot of unluck there when that happens, and that's been both for Boston and Western New York. Western New York finally opened up some scoring last game with 5 goals.
Coleman looking for Mewis over her head, and Smith will let it roll out of play. One other game tonight in the NWSL, Houston taking on Washington, 8:30 kickoff there. And they call the foul as Salem takes to the turf. Trainer being called out for the Breakers. And Salem picked up in a trade with the Washington Spirit. 2 2016 draft picks. Number 12 and number 20, the 27-year-old. Her former Flash teammate comes in and takes a look as well. Calls her Boney.
It looks like when they went up for that header that they just knocked heads a little bit. And that would be a big loss for Boston to lose Angela Salem playing in that holding midfield role. They do have McCall who can get right, can play that role as well. McCall's Zaboni, but Angela Salem is so strong in that position, you would hate to lose her this early in the match.
Looks like she will try to shake it off, take on some water on this warm and muggy night in Rochester. It'll be a drop ball. This one back into play, and Shepfer will give possession back to Western New York. We're 3-3 on the season. Look at the standings. The only unbeaten team right now in the NWSL, the Portland Thorns, at 3-0-3. They'll be in action on Sunday against the Seattle Reign FC.
You know, and just for a split second there, Joe, I was watching Angela Salem walk down the sideline. She still seemed a little bit wobbly, and I'm just going to continue to watch out and see how she does, particularly in the sea. And there she is. There she does. She takes that right on. First touch, perfect. Switches the point of attack, just like we talked about earlier in the game.
A little 1-2. Zerboni looks from Mewis, who's been busy early on. Sister Sam, her older sister Sam, not playing tonight. She is in Denver with the U.S. Women's National Team as they prepare for 2 games against Japan. Mewis and Hinkle out tonight for the Flash, while Boston missing Whitney Engel. And thanks to press box, Houston and Washington actually tonight is postponed due to heavy rain and flooding and thunderstorms in Houston. Thanks to Andrew Battisti for helping us out with that. So 1 game tonight, Mike, in the NWSL, and we are that game. So Houston, Washington will be rescheduled. As Dahlkemper gets the laces tied up.
So Boston and Western New York Flash, the game of the
key matchup in the NWSL.
Starting off Memorial Day weekend.
A powerful header there by King to Salem. Now to Coleman. To Salem. Good step there. Hahn. Doniak gets it back to Hahn. On the far side. 24 years old. Which keeper will have the better birthday? Well, we shall see. Mewis is taken down. 1 assist in 6 games played so far this season for Mewis, who went on loan to FC Bayern Munich after the 2015 season. Zerboni will leave it there. It'll be taken by Westphal, a 22-year-old, a 2-time All-American out of the University of Florida. 2 in the wall for the Flash.
Looks like a 15-yard wall there.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's a long wall, and you knew she wasn't shooting it. You knew she was just going to float it in, but
the overhead kick in at the near post. Eckerstrom's got to be aware.
Yeah, and you'll see that from Simon, the Australian, quite a bit. She's very crafty. She's a solid forward, and she'll do anything to get that ball in the back of the net. Just a little unfortunate earlier on that ball from Mewis. And something that Western New York Flash isn't doing, and one of the keys for them to win this game is to play on the outside flanks. They're not getting the ball to the outside flanks. They're allowing Boston to play the ball down the center of the park, which is where their strength is. They've got Zerboni, Salem, and Shepfer there against Hahn and Ertic, and that's where the strength for Boston is.
A low cross. Now picked up by Hahn on the far side. High chip looking for McDonald with the header in. She'll be called for the contact on Coleman.
So, and that's where they're going to be able to take advantage. If you get that ball to the outside and get it into the center of the park, that's where they're going to be able to take advantage. Switch the point of attack as quickly as possible. Keep the balls on the flank. Use Donyak and Speck on those flanks. Let them get forward. And then get the ball in the center of the box to your 2 big forwards in McDonald and Williams.
12th minute and scoreless. Flash in the all-time series in NWSL play, 5-2-2 against the Breakers. 3-2 at home, 2-0-2 away from home. Speck on the far side. For Williams, top of the 18, Zerboni hustles back to break it up nicely.
Yeah, Williams and Speck just a little bit on different pages there. Speck, you can see her speed on that left flank. She's a natural left footer. She gets forward, and Williams just naturally wants to get in the box. But that was open for her, and she just didn't read it from Speck. Still learning each other. I mean, it's early in the season.
Doniak taking the flank again, and Pathman slides to block it away. Western New York will pick up a corner kick. And, well, we saw last week 3 goals on set pieces in the first half for Western New York and a 5-2 win against Sky Blue.
Well, the height advantage is definitely on in Western New York's favor. You could see Ertic. Now this week, they didn't even have Ertic last week. This week they have Ertic, Kennedy. Last week they had Mewis. They have McDonald and Williams all in there. Something that Boston's going to have to limit this week.
Kemper, the shot blocked by Salem. And knocked away by the Breakers' defense. Shepfer will take no chances.
Yeah, height advantage is definitely with Western New York on set pieces. Boston, key for them is to limit set pieces around the 18. And obviously for Western New York Flash, the opposite. Get as many corners as possible and as many set pieces as possible as well.
Into space for Williams, and just getting a piece of it there is Julie King, and another corner kick coming up for the Flash. And for Matt Beard, I'm sure watching the highlights of last week's game, not the spot he wants to be in.
Yeah, and you saw King right away. She knew that was the wrong decision. She should have tried to bring that one outside. Limit corner kicks, limit set pieces. And doing a short corner, we talked about it last week for Western New York. Just keep putting the ball in the box. You've got the height advantage, and see what happens.
Dahlkemper whips one into the mix. At the 6, a loose ball. Shepford, nope. Smith shot through the traffic and finds the back of the net. Taylor Smith, her first as a professional in the 15th minute. Corner kick danger again.
Another set piece, and you'll see right here, Dahlkemper putting the ball into a dangerous position near post. But it's Smith. She's not going to be going in. She's going to be hanging out at the top of the 18. It's not a good clearance. Smith wins it from Shepfer there, And it's a nice strike there by Taylor Smith for her first professional goal. And what excitement. That's a good celebration as well. Nice strike, good celebration. And you can see her teammates excited for her. Look at that excitement by Taylor Smith going right to her bench. It's a good goal by Western New York Flash early in the game, first 15 minutes. It's a good way to start the match at home.
Smith out of UCLA, 27 goals in her college career. She opens up the professional scoring account. And she's starting at outside back. Mike, the corner kicks have been deadly for Western New York.
Yeah, that's another set piece, another corner kick for Western New York, and it's Taylor Smith. It's not someone that you would think was going to win that on a corner kick, but she's in the right position at the right time. Shepford doesn't do a good job. She tries to dribble it out of her 18 instead of clearing it, and you could see Matt Beard was not happy about that whatsoever.
A Flash taking the early lead now.
You think about the development of that. It's a poor decision by King to put that over the line for that corner kick. Could she have turned that out and maybe given them a throw-in instead? They do have that long throw-in, as Western New York also has a long throw-in, so be aware of that. But then it's a poor clearance by Shepford.
Salem was wide open, screaming for that ball.
Well, not a poor clearance, it's a poor decision. She tries to dribble it out of the 18 versus trying to get it up and out of the 18. Well, you saw that the same thing with Sky Blue last week. Their clearances were across the 18, or they tried to bring it out, and it was their Achilles heel. It hurt them big time.
A little miscommunication there. Hahn waiting for Smith to make the run, and it'll come out in a throw-in for Molly Pathman, the 23-year-old out of Duke. On the near side, we're in the 17th minute. A goal from Taylor Smith, giving Western New York the 1-0 lead. Race for the ball here, Dahlkemper. Under control, back to Eckerstrom. Only as far as Mewis. Into the box, no one there for Boston. And Eckerstrom will have all day on that far side. Breakers, after last week's goal, it was 571 minutes where they hadn't scored. It was Engen off a corner kick, believe it or not, from Christy Mewis that broke the scoreless stretch of almost 600 minutes. Incredible.
And I believe that's Whitney Engen's first NWSL goal in her career, and what a time to get it for her new team in Boston.
Looking for Doniak on the near side, but a little too much there for the 22-year-old. The two-time All-American out of Virginia. And that should be Western New York Flash ball. It is.
Yeah, and you can see a very different look with the Western New York Flash. Ercik was out last week. Kennedy and Dahlkemper were both playing center backs. Abby Ercik was the center back for the Western New York Flash for the first games of the season. And this is her first time at holding midfield. And really, for Scott Vallow, Dahlkemper and Kennedy played fantastic at that center back position. So bring in Abby Ercik and see what she can do in that holding midfielder role. Maybe that's not the right role for Kennedy, as Kennedy played excellent in the center back position with Dahlkemper.
Mewis against Dahlkemper and Kennedy there, and no chance at all. Dahlkemper, calm and cool, finds it back to her keeper. Western New York, next game will be on June the 11th. Orlando be coming in.
And that's not a bad decision there by Kennedy, right? Kennedy has the ball. It's not the greatest decision, but Taylor Smith is too far inside. When you have possession of the ball, spread it out as much as possible. Smith and Eddy have to get wide and really spread out the defense of Boston.
Good hustle from Speck. Pathman, good hustle herself. Left-footed shot, not too far off the mark in the 20th minute.
That's great stuff by Pathman, getting forward from that left back position, and why not have a go? Test out the new keeper.
20th minute opportunity for Pathman. Eckerstrom. Headed back by Simon. Dahlkemper looks. Serves McDonald. 2 goals last week for McDonald. Mewis, Hahn, and Williams also scoring for Western New York. Good ball for Williams. Gets it around the keeper. Williams, the shot, and she slips on the turf. Couldn't get it on frame.
That's so hard for a forward. You get yourself in that right position, and you just get around. It gets hesitant a little bit, and all of a sudden you're right there, and you know that the open net's on, but it wasn't on anymore. Once she tripped up a little bit, put your foot on the ball and see what's going on would have been a better option. Great run, great ball by McDonald.
This one cleared up into the crowd. Williams, that speed, you could see as soon as Kranich came off her line, she was in no man's land. And Williams just turned the corner and poked it around the keeper. Looking for Doniak.
Kranich did just get just enough on it to prevent Williams.
Disrupt her, yeah.
Yeah, to disrupt her enough so she couldn't get a cross-off or a shot. Williams, typical forward, still going for that goal, right?
Jess McDonald has the long throw, and as Mike mentioned, she'll take it from the near side.
And you'll see how Lynn Williams can do it this near post run here. Usually it's Samantha Mewis. Jess McDonald looking for Williams.
Headed out of play, settled by McDonald. Serves, deflected. Back to Smith. Stumbles in the ball, gets it back. Still Smith, another shot, why not? This one's off the mark.
Feeling a little confident. Young converted outside back, right? So Smith, a forward at UCLA, now finding herself playing outside back for the Western New York Flash.
Had one in the 15th minute, why not another?
And you can see right here, Smith gets a little tangled up right there, but then good little explosion, put it back on my preferred right peg. And why not have another shot on frame?
Little collision on the midfield stripe. Simon and Smith. Simon's up. Smith is still down. And Ursig will knock it out of play. And Taylor Smith maybe just got the wind knocked out of her. Been on her feet. She'll be able to recover as her and Simon make nice.
Fans Nike is a proud partner of the NWSL and your Western New York Flash. Step up, take charge, and spark brilliance at Nike.com/soccer.
Be a throw-in coming back here for Sky Blue as Ursig was last to knock it out of play. Eckerstrom takes a few touches outside the 18. Now to Dahlkemper. Whips one forward. Smith overlapping on the near side. Off her shin. And it'll be a throw-in coming up for the Breakers. Boston coming in all confident with a shutout victory last week over FC Kansas City. Their first shutout since May of last season. Early on, the clean sheet goes away here in Rochester. Thanks to Taylor Smith in the 15th minute. Off of another set piece. 3 in the first half last week, 1 so far tonight for Western New York. Eddie, Speck, Hahn, Williams and King battle for it. Williams gets around King, but Coleman comes in. Gets a deflected ball to the far side. And she'll win a throw-in for Boston.
And you can see as soon as Hahn starts to drift outside, she's looking for Lynn Williams to make that diagonal run towards the corner. And Williams does make that run, and they just can't connect. If they do connect, continue to bring the ball out of the flanks and look for your forwards to make those diagonal runs.
Good switch here from Hahn.
I really like what Hahn's doing. She is trying to switch the point of attack, trying to get it from Smith as it tries to get it back to Ertic. And you can see Hahn screaming, just missing that other midfielder in the center of the park to help you out, to free you up just a little bit.
Simon's back heel intercepted by Doniak. Smith with time to Ursig. Now Kennedy, we're a few touches here in this half. 25th minute. Eddie pushing on the far side. Hahn. And dribbles this one out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Breakers, who came off a 1-0 win against Kansas City. They'll be in Orlando tomorrow night. And Orlando, talking about clean sheets. If they pick up one tomorrow against Kansas City, they'll tie the NWSL record of 4 consecutive shutouts. Orlando Pride not conceding a goal in the first half for 5 straight games. Crossed into the box, looking for McDonald, but King able to get just ahead on that one. Looking to get into the 18, and then Coleman will roll it out of play safely. It'll be Kranich on the goal kick in the 26th minute.
All right, fans, pro team is in the stands. They're looking for the roused fans.
Goal kick for Kranich. First appearance of the season. Gets this one up just to midfield. Ursig gets up to get ahead on it. Doniak. Smith keeps it in play. Overlapping from the outside back position. Off of Coleman, a deep throw-in coming up here for Western New York.
And Speck was on the far side making that long run, making Elby chase her. And that's the one thing, Elby has been sitting back. She's really playing a right wing, and she's been sitting back so far that Boston's losing that attack, and it's only Simon, and right now it's Schepfer up top. It looks like Mewis has slipped into the center of the park for Schepfer as Schepfer sits up top.
Looking for the flick. Still the Flash with possession. Hahn with a rocket. It's up and just over the bar in the 27th minute.
It's a nice strike there by Hahn, and it's good stuff there by Doniak, really freeing her up, allowing her to get that space. We saw Hahn score last match, and that could have been her second professional goal right there. And you can see, again, it's off of a set piece, and Boston having a tough time. Doniak just waiting for Hahn to make a move. The ball pops out. Hahn gets a good strike.
Eddie hustles to keep it in play and does a good job to keep pushing forward. Williams on the far side. Steps on it. Double teamed. Williams. LB battling there with her. Back to Speck. Low cross. No one there but Salem. Salem to King, the 26-year-old. Long ball on the far side. Schepfer's got some space.
It's a brilliant ball there by King. Great run by Schepfer.
And a low shot. No trouble there for Eckerstrom. Flash with a 1-0 lead. We are in the 29th minute. Second of 7 straight at home. Boston will feature in 2 of those games. Portland, Chicago, Orlando, and Seattle will also be in the mix. There's Pathman. Back to Salem. Looking for Schepfer, but Kennedy, nice interception. Mewis. Good hustle by Kennedy to come back and win it, and she's tugged on by Simon. And Lana Kennedy, the 20-year-old, signed for the Flash in February of this year from Sydney FC. Wins a free kick. Dahlkemper's going to take a few extra yards. Looking for some options here. Steps into the free kick. A high delivery down the middle of the field. It's flicked on by McDonald, but no one on the end of it.
And you can see her looking, Speck, where are you? I need you to be running off. And there needs to be somebody running off of McDonald as that ball is floated up to her. She's going to win those head balls. Somebody's got to run off of her for sure.
Salem. Little pocket of space she's been working in. And they're going to call a foul on Smith. getting tangled up with Simon. In all honesty, I don't think Simon had a chance to even get to that ball.
No, that was a forced ball by Angela Salem. But regardless if she can get the ball or not, it's still a foul, right?
And it's going to be a dangerous restart here for Mewis and the Breakers. Mewis assisted on the goal from Engen last week. That was a corner kick, but Mewis and Westfall taking a look at this one. 3 in the wall for the Flash.
I feel like this ref is allowing 12 to.
That's a big.
I mean, that's a
bit
big
of
10.
space.
That's a big 10 yards right there.
Westfall will step over. Mewis will fire right into the wall. Now she'll chip into the box. Cleared by Dahlkemper. And off of Pathman. Throw coming up here for Western New York. Flash looking for the clean sheet here. It's been 19 games since Western New York has had a shutout at home. Good battle here on the near side. Coleman. Dangerous ball. McDonald, and Kranich gets there just in time. Another long throw-in opportunity in the 31st minute for Jessica McDonald on her 5th NWSL team. Played with Houston, Portland, Seattle, Chicago.
Yeah, and Paul Riley's like, Abby, what are you doing? You're standing in the center of the park. It's a throw-in for us. And you can see Abby Ertzig starting to come in just right about now into your frame. You're the one we're trying to throw it to for the flick on.
She's the target. And it's King who gets it into the back of Ertzig. Shepfer and Kennedy battle for it. And it'll be last touch by Kennedy. Quickly taken to Salem. Back to Pathman. Now Coleman. Played every minute in every game last season.
She played for that FC Kansas City team that won the NWSL last year. And you look at Kansas City this year, 0-4-2 in last place. Start talking about some of the players that they've lost this season, though, to retirement, pregnancies, injury, and you lose some key players.
McDonald trying to jam it at the near post, and Kranich gets a piece of it, but leading to the 3rd corner kick for Western New York in the first half. We both look at each other, and you never know.
Yeah, and we looked at each other because we know it's dangerous for Boston, and Kranich has to try to jump on that. Coleman didn't know what to do because the ball popped right back out to her. She hit it with a foot. If Kranich would have picked it up, she's like, okay, is this going to be indirect in the 6-yard box? Let me just get it out of here. Gives it up for a corner.
Dahlkemper and Hahn on the near side. Good delivery. The header from McDonald. And Shepfer, she kept it out of the net. That was going in the back, right in the back of that corner. Offside. Flag comes up.
It's a good header by McDonald. It's a great save there by Boston. Off the line. And again, it's another corner kick where Western New York is dangerous, and that's going to get around the league really fast not to give up set pieces for Western New York.
34th minute, another dangerous corner kick opportunity as McDonald had it cleared off the line by Shepfer.
And I think Boston has to get back to their game. They have to start building, play that possession-oriented game that they're used to, and start building through Salem and Zerboni, through the center of the park where they do have a man advantage.
Matt Beard has a couple of players over on the sideline, showing them a few different options. It's Shilgard and McCaffrey over. This one's out of play on the far side. Elby, the 22-year-old out of the University of North Carolina.
I think he's just telling them, like, hey, I'm going to need you guys to start getting ready for the second half. We've got 11 minutes here. Take your time. You got another 15 minutes at halftime.
Ertzig.
But there's definitely stuff going on out there that he's not liking.
Williams turning on the Jets. Coming into the box, cuts it back. Williams looking for a wide open McDonald, but it's Coleman who saves the day. And another corner kick, the fourth one for Western New York coming up.
Again, another dangerous play, and you can see Boston's getting on their players right away. Good ball by Ertzik. Great run by Lynn Williams. A nice little cutback right here against her defender. Cut. Thank you very much. She tries to get it across. And it's King who kicks it out of bounds again for another corner kick.
Dahlkemper. Header at the 6, loose ball. Kennedy battles for it. Still a scrum inside the box. And finally cleared away by Angela Salem. Bodies flying all over the place. And a throw in here for the Flash in the 36th minute.
It's another set piece. And you got to love how Alana Kennedy got in there and tried to win that ball back. And here's that corner kick. It's another good header. And watch how Kennedy steps in there, gets her body in front of, between the ball and the player, and tries to fight through this. And it's Angela Salem who's the one who comes up with it and says, I got to get this out of here.
McDonald, long throw, is going to come back on a goal kick for the Boston Breakers in the 36th minute. Western New York, if you're just tuning in, with a 1-0 lead. In the 15th minute was Taylor Smith, the rookie out of UCLA, picking up the goal off a corner kick, believe it or not, for Western New York. Off of Pathman. Flash will pick up a throw-in. Smith.
I mean, Elby's so far back, it's allowing Speck to basically play as a left wing and just really leave that left side wide open for Elizabeth Eddy. She's just playing so far back. She's not putting any pressure on Speck. She's not going forward. And it's exactly right here what I'm talking about. Eddy has so much space to work with.
Mewis on a 30-yard chase to slow down Eddy, and she does. Good hustle there, but how much does she have in her legs to keep making those runs? Good point, Mike. That is a lot of wide open territory there. Here she is again.
Well, again, I don't know if Speck's playing a defender or as a midfielder, but, I mean, right now she's playing a midfielder role, and it's just they're not connecting.
Out of play, throw in for Elizabeth Eddy, her 7th appearance of the season. King gets the header to Zerboni.
I mean, Elby's got to pass Speck on to Westphal. Westfall's playing that right back position. She's basically not marking anyone coming forward, and you're taking 2 players out of the game to mark 1.
Flag comes up for offside. Referee says bring it down, we'll play on as Coleman has possession. Looking for Simon, doesn't get through. Ursig gets away from Zerboni. Nice ball for Williams, and it just trickles into the 18 for Kranich.
Man, and that speed by Lynn Williams, you can see how she can just take off. Her first step is so quick. Nobody can catch her. That's a ball, good ball by Abby Ertzik. Could be a little bit softer. Lynn Williams is like, hey, man, I'm fast, but I'm not that fast. Kranich doing a good job covering that space behind her back 4.
Oh, very close. Flag comes up. McDonald.
And I think
they have a beef there.
Yeah, and I think Paul Riley and I are in agreement. Paul Riley trying to look for the replay. He said he wants to see this. He's waiting, like saying, "Come on, AR, you're gonna believe a hand up in the air."
Restart taken out by Kranich.
And I'm just talking from my angle here, so.
Zerboni to Salem. Mewis knocked off the ball. Hahn. King will let this runner roll out of play in the 40th minute. Throw in here for the Boston Breakers. Looking for Mewis. And she is hit from behind by Kennedy, who looks up and says, who, me?
Yeah, there's no question on that one. She hit her way before the ball was even near. Clearly a foul.
And a restart here for Boston, who's had trouble in the run of play. We'll see if a set piece will get Matt Beard's side back into this one. It'll be on the far side, 2 in the wall for the Flash. Some options into the box for the Breakers as Mua is still hobbling just outside the 18.
And that would be a big loss for Boston to lose Mewis.
The wall pushed back even more.
I mean, that is at least.
Unless there was a rule change overnight.
I mean, that
10
is
yards went to 15.
That is at least 15 yards for me.
Swerving ball in the box. The header cleared off the line at the last second by Dahlkemper. Helping out the young keeper is Abby Dahlkemper. Now Williams stretching it out on the near side.
And this is a good counter, and this is a good transition by Lynn Williams to get forward. No one really around to help her out as Western New York Flash a little bit slow into the attacking transition. Lynn Williams going all by herself, finding nobody, and you can see her just walking. But all that work, you got to get forward, get the team forward. If there's nothing on, slow it down.
Now Boston, late in the first half, trying to apply some pressure.
And that's off the line there by Dahlkemper.
And Simon, hopeful there.
And Boston,
at the very most.
Boston showing a little bit on their set piece right there and what they can do. And I believe that, I mean, they've had a few set pieces, none of them that they've really put into a good position in the box.
Eckerstrom debuting tonight, getting some help from Dahlkemper to keep this at 1-0. Off the head of Pathman. Throwing here for Taylor Smith in the Western New York Flash. Only 9 players returning from last year's squad. A new head coach. A lot of turnover for the ladies in black and red.
Yeah, you talk about that turnover, but how about the draft classes for the Western New York Flash? And here's one of those draftees right here in Donyak.
A lot of space. The header, and one hops into the arms of Kranich.
And that's one drafted. That's a 2016 draft pick, number 11, Donyak. Hitting it to Hahn, who's the number 9, right? So it's number 11 to number 9, getting starting roles on this Western New York Flash. And, yeah, there's been a lot of turnover. And think about it. Becky, do you really have a holding midfielder? And that's Becky Edwards. Becky Edwards no longer here. Here last year for the Western New York Flash. Whitney Engen. Whitney Engen now playing for Boston, currently with the national team. There's one of your center back. Would free up Kennedy to possibly play in a center midfield role. But, again, you're trying to rebuild a team. There's a lot of things that happen. If you look back, If you look back at the Carly Lloyd being traded, it's produced some key players here for Western New York.
Williams serves one into the box that Pathman just able to poke away from Doniak. Like mentioned, the U.S. national team call-ups. They'll be playing Japan June the 2nd at Dick's Sporting Goods Park in Commerce City, Colorado. I'm sure the U.S. national team players watching this one tonight. Thanks to Jill Ellis for spending some time with us last week at halftime. Williams, a good turn, a shot off the post and cleared away. What a great opportunity and a good shot from Lynn Williams.
And even a better build-up, but a great turn by Lynn Williams. And again, we spoke about these two teams hitting the crossbar and the posts. And this is what they just keep doing over and over. And it's off of a throw-in. And look at the combination here. Smith, Hahn, Donyak. She's going to find Williams at the top of the 18. She has Speck on the far side, but she decides to take it herself. Great turn there by Lynn Williams. That's a good forward. Lynn Williams is going to be dangerous in this league going forward.
45th minute, 5th quarter kick of the game. And the Flash have Dahlkemper on this one again. Steps in, here's the delivery. Headed up in the air and off the mark.
And just a little bit too far there on that corner kick. Really continue to scream it between the 6 and 12 right in the center of that box and allow Kennedy, Ertzik, Williams, and McDonald to run on it.
1 minute of stoppage time here with the Flash taking a 1-0 lead here and look to hold on to this one. Ertzik, good header up and over Salem. Ball's back to Salem. Now Zerboni for Schepfer. Turns, settles it, goes outside to Elby. Finds Schepfer. First half stoppage time. Flash 1, Boston 0. McDonald. Coleman battle for it. Doniak helps out and wins it. Dahlkemper.
What a brilliant ball.
Good
And-
ball, and the flag comes up for offside. Speck, who's called in behind the
I mean,
defense.
I don't know what this AR is. I mean, when Dahlkemper struck that ball, there's no way that Speck was offsides.
And that will bring half number 1 to a close. The only goal in the first half of play from Taylor Smith in the 15th minute off a corner kick. Flash were dangerous on all 5 corner kicks in half number 1. Mike, your thoughts on the first 45?
It's a good first half for Western New York, and Boston started out the game really controlling the match, playing possession-style soccer. That's their style, and they got away from it. They did have 3 in the center of the park. I feel like they moved Schepfer out of the center of the park, and they never really replaced her. So then it went 2v2 in the center of the park, and Boston ended up losing the center of the park. Did you really see Zerboni or Salem possess the ball during that half? And that's where you got to work through. You got to work through those 2 players.
After 45 minutes of play, the only game in the NWSL tonight has Western New York leading the Boston Breakers 1-0. This is NWSL Soccer on the Western New York Flash Broadcast Network. To start half number 2, they'll bring on McCaffrey. She'll replace Shepfer, while Shilgard will replace Elby. And a third substitution as well, Eunice Beckman will be coming on. Her debut with the Boston Breakers. She's going to come on and replace Christy Mewis, who did take a knock to the back in that first half. So Beckman is on for Mewis. All three of these substitutions taking place at the start of half number 1. Beckman signed on May the 5th. The 24-year-old German played for Bayern Munich, helping them claim the Bundesliga Women's Championship. Played with Christy Mewis on that team, actually. And Mike, anything for the home side as far as substitutions?
No subs on the other side, but that's very, very bold of Matt Beard to use all three of his subs at halftime. And Boston, hopefully there's no injuries throughout the match, but the other 8 players on the field know they have to go through all the way through it. So
second half is underway as Angela Salem spins away from pressure to Westfall. Looking for Beckman down the middle of the field. Dahlkemper comes in with a strong challenge to knock it away. Dahlkemper's clearance only as far as Beckman and McCaffrey, now picked up by Salem. That's it for Boston substitutions.
I always thought, it'd be nice to see the Chelsea ladies or the Liverpool ladies or Bayern Munich come on over here and play some of the teams for some exhibitions, but half the team they're over here. There's a lot of loans that go on between the two all the leagues between the USA and all the European leagues. So it would be tough to get a match. Who would McCaffrey play for? Who would Mewis play for? Who is everyone going to play for? But you'd like to see a comparison of the levels of the game. And speaking with Matt Beard before the match, he was talking how he's learned a lot in the first 6 matches of this season with Boston, and that obviously this league is a little bit more physical and a little bit more direct than what he's used to over in England.
There's Zerboni for McCaffrey.
No indication if he felt it was a stronger league or not, but
good ball into the box. At the 12, Simon is there. Flag comes up. They're going to call a handball. Referee getting some help from his assistant on the near side.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if the assistant made that call. I think it was a clear handball from here. But the center referee is 10 yards away, and the AR is 25 yards away,
There's a look
if
at
not
that
40
replay.
yards away. But great ball, and I think Taylor Smith got lucky here that it did hit Simon's arm there. She got very lucky because Simon got position on her in that inside position. Smith's got to make sure that she gets herself between Simon and the ball, and she gave Simon that space to just get in front of her.
There's Beckman. Zerboni flicks it on. A little poke back into the box, looking for McCaffrey. She'll get onto it. And nope, she'll wait and win a corner kick here for the Boston Breakers. McCaffrey, 23 years old, the team rookie of the year in 2015. Had 3 goals and 3 assists. Shilgard, who has come on, is 26 years old, a Swedish international. And we talked about Beckman, the 24-year-old, coming over from Bayern Munich.
I mean, very surprised both those players didn't start this match.
Service into the box and at the near post, headed away by Dahlkemper. She's been good tonight. Another ball. Eckerstrom punches it up at the 6. It goes down and wins the call. And will be a restart coming up here for Western New York in the 49th minute. Don't forget the Flasher home Saturday, June 11th against Orlando, 7 p.m. kickoff. For tickets and more information, visit WNYFlash.com or check out the NWSL website, NWSLsoccer.com. 49th minute, Flash with a slim 1-0 lead. Boston making all 3 substitutions to start half number 2. As Matt Beard, the 38-year-old who succeeds Tom Durkin, rolling the dice.
Yeah, and succeeding Tom Durkin, and what's Tom Durkin's role? He goes to the club director of the academy to start preparing for the future of the Boston Breakers, and can you bring players through the system and eventually, still in the United States, they're still going to college and then moving on to the pros. And here at Western New York, and after this play, we'll talk about what Western New York's doing about their academy moving forward. And as his ball moves back, I thought it was something McCaffrey was going to bring forward. But Western New York Flash doing the same thing. They're now in the ECNL. They're doing a free ID clinic on Thursday, June 9th to see what's out there in Western New York and bringing in players born in 1999 through 2004 to get them prepared for their ECNL league coming up. And as you start looking at the tiered program of these professional clubs, on the boys' side, they have the academy programs. And on the girls' side, they're starting the academy in 2017. And right now, if you look at the pro level, you got the pro level, and then you got the ECNL and the academy right below it. And then the Flash have that third tier of all their teams that are building and feeding into that ECNL team and the academy moving forward. So the Flash starting to develop what most of the other NWSL clubs have across the country, and it's starting right now by their entrance into the ECNL. And one thing, ECNL, it produces collegiate players. 90% of the players that play in the ECNL play in college today. So it's definitely a good developmental league, preparing players for college and essentially the pros.
And for more information on the Western New York Flash Academy, go to wnyflash.com. As Eddie has a chance into the 18. Stood up there, and it'll be a goal kick. Julie King defending Eddie there. Again, the academy information at wnyflash.com.
It's time to direct your attention.
All right, here at Rhino Stadium, it's 1-0 Western New York. Flash yet to go to the bench, as this is the second of 7 straight home games for West. It's a club record, by the way, for consecutive home games. They'll return to the road on July the 16th. And Speck, good defending there on Westfall.
Joe, it's always nice to be home, but to be home for 7 games in a row, that's tough. It's nice. It's great to be home, but sometimes going on the road helps build that team chemistry, gets you out of your regular environment, changes things up a little bit. But if you can continue winning at home, 5-2 last week, right now 1-0 against Boston. If you can get a win, going 2-0 in the beginning of this 7-game homestand, who wants to go on the road?
And you look at the substitutions made tonight, all 3 of them by Matt Beard to start the second half. Last week, Sky Blue brought in Leah Galton, and I thought she was exceptional off the bench. We'll see if Beckman, McCaffrey, and Shilgard have that same impact. And I'm curious to see down the line, the rest of the season, where Galton fits into that lineup as a sub or a starter.
Absolutely. Galton out of Hofstra, finished out her degree, finished out her year at Hofstra, and then started a little bit late, but signed, starts, and just dynamic, just spark plug off the bench for Sky Blue. And it'd be interesting to see if Beckman here, she's seen the ball a lot. She's pretty dynamic there up top.
Headed back into the Flash half of the field. Now Zerboni. To Westfall. Will she get it there? No, intercepted by Speck. Speck still with it. And a hard tackle there, but Coleman able to win it back for Boston.
Eddie avoids a hard tackle from Zerboni right before that. It's always the thing that we love to see about Zerboni. She loses the ball. That was a poor pass by her, which is not normal by Zerboni, but she makes that pass and she tries to recover and get that ball back right away. She never stops.
Pathman turns the corner. Left there for Salem. Her shot off the side of her foot and off the target. A goal kick coming up for Western New York.
And you're going to need Angela Salem and Zerboni to be on top of the ball a lot more if you're going to win this match. And there's an example. Zerboni and Salem getting a little bit more in the mix. Shilgard has come in. She's really filled that attacking midfielder role a little bit more than Shepfer or Mewis because they were interchangeable in the first half. but neither one of them really played that attacking midfield role. They pretty much stayed up top.
Westfall pops it up over Speck, gets the header on it to Zerboni. Now Westfall, Beckman. Intercepted, now Shilgard. Back to the flash keeper, Britt Eckerstrom. Swerves one onto the near side. Speck lays it off for Eddie. Nice touch. Zerboni is called for the foul right in front of the Western New York Flash bench. And her fiance, who is the assistant coach for Western New York, Scott Vallow.
Former head coach of the Western New York Flash.
For one game.
For one game, 1-0.
Oh, bad giveaway here. Eckerstrom gives it to McCaffrey. Driving into the 18, Ursig hustles back to knock it out of danger. There's Westfall. Salem. By the way, congratulations to Scott and McCall. It's Coleman. Looks to come forward now and a touch forward for Zerboni. Back to Coleman.
Boston getting right back into their style of play, possession-oriented game, making Western New York work to get the ball back, controlling the pace of the game, as Western New York is one of the hardest working teams in the league. We talked about it last game. They've got those chips in their jerseys that tracks how far they're running, what their work rate is. And it's known around the league. They're one of the hardest working clubs in the league. And if you could tame that work rate and control possession of the game, you can slow the Western New York Flash down.
Speck has to hustle here, but she won't get there. Westfall cuts it around her, the 22-year-old. Third overall pick in the NWSL draft. Knocks one into the box, cleared away. And Williams bumped into from behind by King. We restart at midfield for Western New York.
And Boston really showing a completely different shape than they did in the first half. McCaffrey not sitting back at all. You can see McCaffrey's putting more pressure on Eddie, allowing Westfall to play defense against Speck, and really allowing Boston to get themselves a little bit more into an attacking-minded role. Once they do get possession, they can start playing in the attacking third versus playing in the middle third or their defensive third.
Good ball from Speck. Williams laid it off, but no one there for Western New York. Speck starting to show a little more sizzle and pizzazz on the ball.
Well, she's that
cheeky little touch there.
Yeah, she's strong. She's quick on that first touch. She's a natural left footer. And if you're a Western New York Flash fan, and that's the first time you heard Joe say Lynn Williams, you know that Boston's putting a lot more pressure on Western New York. You can see that there's giveaways, a lot more giveaways than you saw in the first half.
Yeah, much better start here for Boston than we saw in the first 45. Julie King.
And it was similar last match against Sky Blue. It was all Western New York in the first half. I wouldn't say that the first half tonight was all Western New York, but it was all Western New York in the first half against Sky Blue. And then Sky Blue was a different team in the second half. And actually, Sky Blue won that half, the second half last week, 2-1. Unfortunately, they lost the first half 4-0.
That's where it was won for the Flash last week. There's the goal scorer, Smith. Near side, Eddie. Space. Time for Eddie. Williams. Foot race with King. Kranich. Williams' flag would have come up if she had touched the ball. Lets it go through. And Kranich will pick it up here for the Breakers. Eddie to Speck. Williams.
Oh, yeah. That was... Williams wanted that ball back, and she was starting to make her run, and she did have position on King at that moment. She wanted that 1-2 and have that ball played right into the corner. Speck had something other to think about.
Salem for Beckman. Oh, a good turn from the substitute. Gets around Kennedy. Beckman. Pass is deflected away. Picked up now by McCaffrey. Onside. Back to McCaffrey. Cross into the box. Now Boston with some pressure and some opportunities here.
It's a good combination play there. It's a good look by McCaffrey. Dahlkemper's there to cut it off, but McCaffrey looking for Simon coming in from that left-hand side.
Played back for Beckman. Hahn gets her head on it. But picked up again by Salem. Shilgard. Beckman. Shilgard. Good soccer from Boston. And Matt Beard hopping up and down. I think he's pretty happy with what he sees so far.
Well, he's made some impactful changes there, and it's 3 of his attack players. I mean, if you think about Shepfer, Mewis, you know, I think Mewis had a good half. Shepfer wasn't as busy as you normally see her, but Beckman, Shilgard, and McCaffrey a lot busier this half than Mewis, Elby, and Shepfer. So definitely good changes.
Absolutely. 61st minute, Beckman, Shilgard, McCaffrey have all figured early in this second half. Flash, though, with the lead, 1-0.
And Beckman's definitely been the most dynamic. You know, and don't forget, you know, a player like Galton comes on last week. She's unknown. So you don't know, is she right? Is she left? Who is this player? Right? She's new to the league. You're not really following her too much when she's at Hofstra. Beckman, new to the league. Yeah, she's playing at Bayern Munich. You're not really following her too much. You may have seen her play once or twice, but you're not zoning in on her like you are McCaffrey. You know exactly what she's going to do. She's played with the national team. She's seen a couple looks at the national team. Beckman's had some freedom.
She's been a good find. And you wonder if Christy Mewis kind of gave Matt Beard the heads up, said, hey, we've got this player here at Bayern Munich who might be quality for our side. Kennedy pressured by Beckman. She got herself involved in the play, so the offside flag comes up.
Yeah, Scott Vallow had that hand up in the air. He knew it was offsides.
Well, Mike, last week we saw Christy Rampone in town with Sky Blue FC, but she has, on her own, withdrawn from the U.S. women's camp. It's taking place in Denver starting today, citing a lack of fitness and health for soccer at the international level, but 41 years old and just an outstanding career.
Well, to still get that call up, right, is such an honor. And, you know, you saw her last week, still strong. You know, she has that knee issue coming off of that knee injury back in December, that surgery back in December. And it's, you know, she had a great international career, if that's it. But it's tough to get back at that level. And, you know, she realizes she's played in five World Cups now. And
unbelievable.
Yeah. And, you know, there are younger players out there that is it maybe their turn to start wearing that flag.
So the camp goes from 25 to 24 now, and 2 of our own Flash players out in Denver now preparing for the Olympics, trying to make that final roster.
Yeah, but there's still that one player that's missing, those 2 players that are missing.
McDonald with a nutmeg into the 18. Into the box, Williams puts it in the back of the net. Boston wants offside, they're not going to get it. 2-0, Western New York.
Jess McDonald, and you can see Pathman running over to the AR. Pathman gets megged right on the side of the 18 by McDonald. McDonald's pass is not perfect to Lynn Williams. You can see McDonald running this down against Coleman. And I think it's Coleman that she actually megs here, right between Coleman's legs. Oh, she sees Hahn right at the top. Not a perfect pass. And actually, I think there was another meg. And it's Lynn Williams at the top of the 6. I can't tell if she's offsides. Here's that first meg. And then it's King coming in. It's another meg, 2 megs. And Lynn Williams at the top of the 6. That's a good combination goal by Western New York.
Another chance for Williams into the 18. Not done yet. Williams a toe poke and a goal! Lynn Williams, 1 minute apart, gets her second of the game.
And I always say, once you score a goal or give up a goal, the next 5 minutes is dangerous. So either capitalize or you better buckle down. And Boston did not buckle down right there. And there you go, 1-0 to 2-0 on what you thought was offsides. And then right here, you can see, here's this ball. Hans looking, goes to the outside. She gets it to the flanks. And then she's looking for Williams. Williams making another one of her runs. Speck's going to get the assist here. Williams actually exposes the ball here, but she's just so strong. She holds off Westfall. Right here, they're trying to get in there. King trying to tackle it. Nothing they can do. It's a great goal, but great individual work there by Williams. I think Westfall and King got to be a little bit stronger. Got to get to that ball.
We were just praising how great the second half had started for Boston with the 3 substitutions of McCaffrey, Shulgard, and Beckman. Then, in a minute, 64th, 65th minute, Williams, back-to-back, it's 3-0 Western New York. So recapping her scoring in the 64th minute, Williams got her second of the year. Hahn got the assist. That's her first assist. And then in the 65th minute, Williams with the goal and Speck with the assist, her first also. So Hahn gets her first professional assist. Speck, same for her. And it's 3-0 Western New York, looking for more. It's McDonald this time on the near side, cutting it inside and just off of Kallman and into the arms of Kranich.
And I like that decision by Jess McDonald. Can she make that little fake with her left shoulder and then cut it onto the inside to get to a preferred right peg in the 18? Kallman with good defense there.
Just like that, Western New York takes a 3-0 lead. Unbelievable. Referee stop this one, and Western New York will make a substitution. And it's going to be Mary Speck coming off and Courtney Nemec coming on. So shift things around on the pitch for Western New York. Nemec, the 27-year-old, making her second appearance of the season. As Speck, who got the assist on that third goal, comes off. First change of the game for Western New York, 67th minute.
Speck, good game. Still starting to show some really good stuff. She's gotten a couple starts here in the last 2 matches, trying to keep her starting spot, and I think she's definitely earned it tonight. Good job with an assist. So Nemec comes on. Eddie moves over back to her right defensive role where she's more comfortable. Nemec playing left back. Some changes. Donyak comes over to the left side, and Taylor Smith playing right back for that first time this season for the Western New York Flash, now getting into her more comfortable position up at right forward. So now you got Donyak left wing, left midfield, Smith right midfield, Eddie right back, Nemec left back. Right up the center of the park, nothing changes.
Thrown on the far side for McDonald. As the Flash, just like that, have taken a 3-0 lead. We have to look back and see if that's the fastest back-to-back goals in Flash history. A minute, if that, maybe even 30 seconds.
Joe, we've been here for
I don't remember
several years. I've never seen 2 goals that fast by Western New York.
Long throw in, Ursig looking for the flick. A little shove by Salem on Ursig, no call. There's Boney. Knock one downfield. Kennedy get there first and play it back to Eckerstrom.
You always talk about it's irrelevant how well you're playing. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. That's something that Boston has struggled with this entire season. They've got 1 goal in 7 games.
Here's Williams again, pushing into the 18, goes wide with it. Williams looking for the hat trick. A chance here, Doniak, the shot! Kranich makes a good save, pushing it wide right.
Before that Sky Blue match, when Western New York scored 5 goals, Paul Riley took his six players who he considers his forwards, and he worked on them day in and day out. all types of shots, headers, shots from outside the 18, shots from crosses inside the box. And here's Lynn Williams on another break, getting it forward. And Donyak, one of those players, good little move here. And Kranich with another save, but worked with his forwards, and since they produced 8 goals in these last 2 matches.
Corner kick number 5.
I don't even know why Hahn stays out there.
Into the box. Loose ball.
I mean, just to draw a Boston player out there, yes, I understand that. But can you get yourself in a different position versus just standing 10 yards away? Keep that Boston player drawn out to the outside. But there's no reason to hit short corners with this Western New York Flash team.
It's minute number 70, 3-0 Western New York. Good win by Ursig. McDonald, oh, a good idea for Williams. Williams and McDonald really starting to sync up, get on the same page.
Well, that's exactly what you say. You see those two, they're on the same page, they're using each other. That goal is an example of them, of their forwards and the midfielders working together, and you actually haven't seen that with the attack. Very good individual players up top for Boston. Simon, McCaffrey, Shepfer, Beckman. But have you really seen them really work together?
The flick at the 6, and Williams pushes it back out wide. Last week it was McDonald with 2 goals. This week, so far, it's Williams with 2. And the Flash will go to the bench one more time. And Jayon Gaul will be coming in.
I mean, do you recall really of the forwards for Boston working off of each other and really working with each other, supporting each other? It's a lot of individual play. Other than that play where McCaffrey was looking for Simon, I really don't remember.
McDonald intercepted by Westfall, picked up by Salem. Sent forward now by Simon, looking for Shilgard. Played it back to Beckman, lets it roll through nicely. Low ball, never going to make it there. Eddie intercepts.
No, that was a bold pass right there. Very ambitious there by Beckman.
Coleman. Takes a little dashing run forward. Looking for Pathman. Smith will let it roll out of play, and this will be the end of the night for our first goal scorer of the evening, Taylor Smith. She scored in the 15th minute, and now she will come off. And she is replaced now in the 73rd minute by Jayon Gaul, the first Korean player to ever play in the NWSL. Debuted with the South Korean national team, Mike, at age 16. Makes her second appearance of the season for Western New York.
Yeah, and a very technical, crafty, and smart player. The thing that Paul Riley wants to see out of this player more is to get used to what Matt Beard said. This league is a little bit more physical. It plays a little bit more direct. Can you play that style? And that's what we're waiting for to see this South Korean do. And Paul Riley believes in her and thinks that she can do it. And up until just recent, right, there was 2 lineups on the wall for this team. Paul Riley really thinking about what he was going to put out there. And Gaul was one of the starters at one point. But really, he's obviously made some good decisions tonight and bringing Gaul off the bench.
So you see her coming up top, playing alongside of McDonald. Where does that put Williams now?
Well, Williams, you may see playing in that attacking midfield role, or she may play on the flank. Smith came out, so you might see Williams drift out to the right a little bit more.
So Gaul up top with McDonald, but a defensive corner kick now for the Flash, and this one is last touch by the Breakers. It'll be a goal kick coming up for the Western New York Flash.
I mean, you're looking at this young Penn State goalie, and she might get herself a shutout. I mean, we might be talking a little bit early, but in her debut, I mean, there are things you obviously see, right? You got to work on, right? Is she going to own her 6-yard box there? She didn't win that. There was still a Boston player that got on the end of that corner. How are her feet, right? Her feet haven't been great, but it's your first game. There's nerves. And it's a lot easier when your team's putting 3 goals in the back of the net.
Salem looking for Pathman. Broke it up. Doniak giving away to the Beckman. Dahlkemper, a spinning kick, able to get a foot on that one. Finds McDonald.
Well, and you've got Dahlkemper and Kennedy playing the way that they are right in front of you. 2 very young players leading the center back position for this very young West New York Flash team. And Elizabeth Eddy as well. Taylor Smith, just great defense tonight by the West New York Flash. But again, you put balls in the back of the net, it's irrelevant how great your possession is. You're not going to win games if you don't put it in the back of the net.
It's been 19 home games for the Flash since they've had the clean sheet. As Beckman and Boston look to continue that streak. Knocked out of play. Throw coming up here for Shilgard. Gets it back from Beckman. McCaffrey. Door is slammed there by Kennedy. And the Breakers will pick up a throw in deep in the Western New York half of the field. Boston last season, 4-13-3. The year before, they were second from the bottom at 6-16-12. They make a coaching change. Matt Beard trying to turn things around for Boston. Long throw-in through the 18. Ursig. Doniak. Picked up by Pathman. Salem. Knocked away, picked up back to Westfall.
Well, Joe, you say that, and there's a lot of experience in the league, right? And there's a lot of players in the league with that type of experience at this level. But the one thing that Western New York has done that Boston hasn't done is they've built.
Gaul still dribbling in the box, and that will be a whistle for a goal kick.
And we've talked about her technical abilities, and we'll go back to why I feel Western New York Flash has succeeded the way that they have, and Boston hasn't. But Gaul just got the foul. She just ran to get the ball.
Oh, he did point to the spot. I thought he pointed. I thought he called a goal kick.
Oh no, he pointed to the spot, and that was
oh, my bad.
Gaul very crafty, and you can see Dahlkemper very questionable. That was almost a Kai Kamara's moment right there. Gaul thought she was going to get the penalty kick.
It's Dahlkemper who winds, fires, goal! Dahlkemper makes it 4-0, her first of the season. And Abby Dahlkemper puts this one pretty much away for Western New York on the PK.
And Joe, I don't know if you saw that, but that's a great finish by Dahlkemper. But Gaul got fouled. She went and got the ball. She thought she was going to take it, and Dahlkemper was already running up there, and she looks to the bench, and she's like, aren't I supposed to take this? I thought it was clear, and Gaul was like, oh, man. She wanted to get her first goal here in the NWSL, but you're going to have to get in the run of play, I think.
And Dahlkemper on the PK finds the back of the net. And that is her first professional goal, actually.
Well, you talk about Dahlkemper, and that's what we were just getting to. Dahlkemper, 2015 draft. Hahn, 2016. Doniak, 2016. Samantha Mewis, 2015. Williams, 2015 draft pick. Hinkle, Hamilton, Liedl, they're all players that are getting time. And we just named off 8 players that are getting significant time for this Western New York Flash team. You're starting to build players and starting to build a team that's gaining experience as they go. You sacrifice a couple years. Boston hasn't done that. And Western New York Flash, sure, they didn't have the most successful seasons the last 2 seasons, but they started to build this team. And they've got themselves in a spot right now where they're going to be in 3rd place, tied with Portland or Orlando with the youngest team in the league.
Unbelievable. 4-0. Dahlkemper's goal, her first. There was a substitution as well as Dree Leone came on. And Doniak came off in the 78th minute. So with the 4 goals tonight, Western New York, the first team in the NWSL to get into double digits. They've got 12 so far on the season. And Boston, the first team to get in double digits with goals against up to this point, 11 for the Breakers.
Well, you build confidence in scoring throughout an entire week in Williams and McDonald, and all that hard work is starting to pay off as McDonald and Williams, they were unlucky. They were hitting the post. They were hitting the crossbar, getting themselves in the right position, and that's what Paul Riley just kept telling you. Get yourself in the right position. Let's just work on this finishing technique right now.
And Williams will have some space on this near side.
I mean, she is just so dangerous.
Outside for McDonald, tees one up. And Kranich diving to her left makes the save.
I mean, McDonald and Williams just so dangerous. They're fun to watch. And the only other 2 forwards I've seen so far this year just as dangerous are Morgan and Crystal Dunn.
Should be an exciting season of Western New York Flash soccer. If you're sitting at home and you want to see some goals, I think this might be the place to be. 5 last week, 4 tonight, and we're not done yet. Beckman is hit hard from behind by Nemec.
Hey, and Gayul, how about that? She was on the list to possibly get a starting spot. She comes off the bench. She's like, you know what? That's fine. I'll come off the bench and do my thing. I'm technical. I mean, just played with Pathman out there. Smoked her, got fouled. Earns a penalty kick for the Western New York Flash.
And just cleared away by Nemec.
You know, that never gets put in the books, but Paul Riley will remember that.
Paul Riley had Nemec with the Portland side. As we're here now to Western New York. And Salem and Boston looking for something here, but giving away Leon. Gayul. 2-hand shove from Salem, and it'll be coming out the other way for Western New York. We're in the 82nd minute. Orlando will be coming to town. The 4-2 Orlando Pride at this point will be here on June the 11th, 7 p.m. kickoff. And what should be a great game. Orlando just doing great things on and off the field. Whether it's the men's team, the women's team, unbelievable. Huge crowds. And soccer crazy Orlando, Florida. There's Leon. Zerboni knocks her off the ball. Still Zerboni. Little elbow to the face of Leon, and looks like they're going to call Leon for the foul.
I don't know if that was a foul on Leon, but I don't know if that was a foul at all. I think McCall just fighting through the...
There's a look at that little challenge. Zerboni had to get her on Williams first, and then Leon came in and...
Just getting her arm out, protecting herself, and I think she got Leon in the throat there. And Leon went down.
They're going to call a foul on Leon.
This injury time is brought to you by Rochester.
She's a little shocked that it was called on her.
I think she's pissed it was called on her.
A little march there coming off the field.
Yeah, the Canadian International coming off the bench for Western New York. I mean, having her coming off the bench is... Paul Riley's like, hey, I got Leon coming off the bench. I feel pretty good. I've got a Canadian International. He's starting to build a team, and that, you know, you talk about Matt Beard, and he's learning the league. He's learning the players. That's the advantage that Paul Riley has over Matt Beard. Paul Riley's been around the top league in the United States for the last 5+ years. He knows the players. He knows what to look for. He knows every single player on Boston. Where this is the first time Matt has seen them live for the most part. I mean, he's watched plenty of game film, but Paul Riley has that advantage over Matt Beard.
There's Gayul, South Korean international. Han, onto the near side for Williams. Nemec overlapping, King battling with her. Sees it out of play. Matt Beard standing up for most of the game, has kind of resigned himself to sitting down and looks a little dejected after that promising start to the second half. Western New York in the 64th minute just slammed the door shut.
Well, and the first half as well. I mean, they started off in the first 5-10 minutes of this game. I mean, come on, man. 4-0. Western New York Flash, top in the league in scoring with 12 goals. A very young team. And you go back to last year, Aaron Lyons, and even this year, Aaron Lyons, part of the development of this team with the draft picks, and Paul Riley just putting it in shape. And that team, Aaron Lyons in the office now, and Paul Riley, what a team. Two of the most experienced coaches in the country teaming up to build this Western New York Flash team.
You talk about some of those numbers from last season. Western New York scored 24 goals all season long. That was 6th best in the league. They are halfway there right now through 6+ games. So the offensive explosion has been definitely noticed amongst teams and fans in the NWSL. Kennedy has to hurry, gets there before Beckman, but Zerboni tucks it away back for Boston. Still Zerboni.
Lynn Williams last year, 4 goals, 4 assists, and already she's got 3 goals in 6 games.
Shilgard should go outside. And the cross comes into the box, but no one there for Boston. Hahn will clear it out to the far side.
And you see Hahn, that box-to-box player that you're looking for. And there she is to clear it out to try to assure that this rookie goalkeeper gets her first shutout, her first win and her first shutout in her debut match. I mean, how excited is she going to be? Still plenty of time left, Joe. Goals always happen in the last 5 minutes.
That's your theme.
I know.
Eckerstrom turns 23 tomorrow. She's going to celebrate a little early here tonight.
She's definitely having a better birthday than Kranich.
Ersic continues the flow onto the near side.
Look at Lynn Williams and her work rate. She just constantly works. What
Good
a ball.
switch.
And look at that control by Gayul.
Gayul shifting. Shot is blocked. Coleman comes away with it.
You know Gayul wants one. She wants to prove that she deserves to be on that field, if not first off the bench.
Foul is called. McCaffrey, the player who went down. And they'll bring it back as Zerboni knocked it off her own player. Calls Zerboni on the season. 6 games played, no points registered yet. Shilgard. Eddie just closing the door quickly, applying pressure and wins the ball. And wins a free kick as well.
Elizabeth Eddy, I mean, earning herself a starting spot for this team. Last year, she was a role player coming off the bench. And now a permanent spot on that outside back position with her and Hinkle on the flanks. Just Elizabeth Eddy playing solid defense.
89th minute. 4-0 Western New York. 1 first half goal and then 3 in the second half in a matter of 14 minutes to turn this one wide open in favor of the home side.
You're down 1-0. You have complete control of the match. And then it's McDonald who just does some magic on the outside. Beats 2 Boston Breakers players. Finds Hahn, who finds Williams on the outside. Next thing you know, you're down 2-0. And then Lynn Williams with an individual effort. Great ball by Speck. But a great individual effort to put the ball back in the back of the net for a 3rd goal within 1 minute.
These last 2 games at home for the Flash against Sky Blue and now tonight against Boston, absolutely different, complete turnaround than we saw on April the 29th in a 3-0 loss to Washington. starting to find the rhythm, their connections.
Well, it's confidence, right? And Boston coming off of a win, 1-0. You were thinking that Boston was going to come in, and they did. They started off the first 10 minutes controlling the match, controlling the game. They did the same thing in the second half. And Boston, who's lost 4 games this season by 1-0.
And our first yellow card, Mike, will come in the 90th minute to the substitute, Eunice Beckman, for her challenge in the middle of the park. First yellow card of the game going to the Breakers.
Boston's lost 4 games this season, 1-0. And then 1 game against Seattle, 3-0. And then Western New York Flash has put the most up against them at 4-0. So definitely a scoring issue. And you've got strong forwards, Simon, McCaffrey, Shepfer, Mewis. They're just not putting the ball in the back of the net.
We'll have 2 minutes of stoppage time as the Flash have a 4-0 lead. Williams will get a cross into the box. And it is just set wide on a great run from Leon, who came sprinting in out of nowhere.
But it's Williams, the dynamic run by Williams on the left-hand side. Towards the end of the match, what energy she has after 90 minutes as a forward. McDonald's still out there as well. Both Williams and McDonald still giving 120%, up 4-0. Tremendous speed by Lynn Williams. And finding Leon crashing. And you know Leon wanted that one.
Flash just a minute or so away from another victory on home turf. Ursig deflected off of Zerboni.
And Urzig's asking Kenny, what are you rushing for? We're up with no time left. We're in extra time. Relax.
There's Gayul. A nice little move. Just a little shift of the ball.
She is so technical. If she can get used to the physicality of this game, she could be a dangerous player. Get physical and use your technical abilities, and you'll be a special player. Could you be that number 10 for the Western New York Flash?
Beckman looking for McCaffrey, but Nemec has the fresh legs and able to win the race and get it back to Eckerstrom. Gayul recovering from a Achilles injury. Only her second appearance of the season. And a good one tonight since coming on in the 73rd minute. Shilgard. Salem. Simon. Knocked away. Referee checks his watch.
Yeah, if I'm Matt Beard,
That is it.
if I'm Matt Beard, I'm working attacking third. Possession into the attack. Possession, get the ball into the attacking third and penetrate as quickly as possible. Because Boston can possess the ball, but there's not a lot in the attacking third. And that's my opinion right now. They can possess the game, but the attacking third, they just start to slow down and they're not putting the ball in the back of the net.
Well, Western New York wins it. Another offensive outburst from the Flash. Tonight it's 4-0, and it's the shutout that we had talked about throughout the broadcast. They had not recorded a shutout at home in their last 19 games. Well, wipe the slate clean, because here we go. Flash are keeping a clean sheet, and Mike, they are finding the back of the net.
Yeah, and look who it is who's keeping a clean sheet. It's a rookie. Her first game ever gets the clean sheet for the Western New York Flash. 4 goals, 2 goals by Lynn Williams. She's on fire. She is so dynamic. And I think, she has a chance to get more assists as well. She's getting herself in the right position. She's getting the ball across the 18. Smith with a goal. Dahlkemper with the penalty kick. All that hard work by Gayul to draw that penalty kick. It's a great game by the Western New York Flash.
Flash now 4-3 on the season, while Boston drops to 1-6. Goals tonight from Smith, 2 from Williams, and 1 from Dahlkemper, giving Western New York the 4-0 victory over the Boston Breakers. For our entire production crew, our color commentator Mike Kerms, I'm Joe Giuliano saying so long from Rhinos Stadium.